I want to talk about a testamentary special needs trust, or one that is built within a last will and testament, and why that's important. This is a concept that a lot of people don't recognize the incredible importance of having. So the context is this: we have a married couple, and maybe at first only one of them is in need of long-term care expenses. And sometimes we may even be working with that sicker spouse to protect not only their assets, but the assets of the spouse who is healthier and not in need of long-term care, so that the sicker spouse can qualify for long-term care benefits through the Medicaid program to help pay for care at home or care in a facility. What this all boils down to is every once in a while, the healthier spouse will predecease the sicker spouse, right? Because caregiving, they're often the primary caregiver as well, and that is incredibly stressful, and every once in a while, they'll pass away first. And if we've done work to get the sicker spouse onto Medicaid long-term care benefits, and the healthier spouse whose assets we've protected passes away, assets now are heading on over to the sick spouse, that can kick them off of their needs-based public benefits, which can be quite valuable. So enter the last will and testament. What we do for our estate planning clients who are of a certain age, and certainly we recommend it to all of our Medicaid planning clients, is to make sure that both spouses have what I call a Medicaid last will and testament, as opposed to an ordinary last will and testament, right? An ordinary last will and testament usually says that if I pass away, everything goes to my surviving spouse, right? And that's very normal and very typical, and makes sense in all situations except when government benefits are involved. Because again, if the sick spouse were to all of a sudden inherit all of these assets, it would knock them off their benefits. So with a Medicaid last will and testament, we are building within it something called a testamentary special needs trust, because Florida statutes have a special exception that say, if instead of the will saying that everything goes to the surviving spouse, it instead goes into a special needs trust for the surviving spouse's benefit, the assets within that trust will not jeopardize access the surviving spouse has to Medicaid, even if it's paying, whether it's paying $8,000 a month toward a nursing home, $1,800 a month to an ALF, or paying for home health care. And yet everything in that special needs trust can be utilized to improve the quality of the Medicaid recipient's life, paying for additional home health care, paying for a better assisted living facility, paying for entertainment expenses, whatever the case is. And the beauty of it is, generally speaking, with a special needs trust, there's a Medicaid payback obligation, but with a testamentary special needs trust, there is no Medicaid payback obligation. So you can have these assets held in a special needs trust that are where you've just designated another trustee, usually an adult child, but it can be a professional. They have these professional nonprofit organizations that will serve as trustees as well. Again, the money in that trust can be used to improve the quality of my Medicaid client's life. It can be used to pay for anything that they need or want that's not already covered by Medicaid. And then after they eventually pass away, to the extent that there's money left in that testamentary special needs trust, it can go to the children or to a charity or wherever you want it to go. And the point is, Medicaid will not have the ability to have their hand out as they sometimes do in other situations. So it can be a very, very valuable estate planning tool. And again, it's not a feature normally found in a typical last will and testament, because again, even the attorneys who are doing that work, they're not always thinking about Medicaid. Whereas an elder law attorney, such as myself, we're always thinking about making sure that we're protecting people's assets any way we can. and helping people take advantage of all the resources available to them. So hope that makes sense. If you're interested in talking about Medicaid planning, estate planning, probate avoidance anywhere in the state of Florida, please schedule a consultation. If you found this video helpful, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up or share it, subscribe to the channel. Just my effort to get good information out to Floridians everywhere. Thank you for watching.